security guard in mental charges.
James is to come court for us. James, is CCTV then a key part of the prosecution's evidence?
That's right, Sangeeta. The prosecution stated the case claiming the footage shows Mr. Bouquet approaching a 9-month-old cat called Kendrick, stroking it, giving it affection before appearing to take a weapon out of his rucksack and using it with force on the cat. Now this was Steve Bouquet wearing a black leather jacket in January 2020 after an appearance at Brighton Magistrates Court. The offence which he was accused of took place between October 2018 and June 2019 on residential streets in the city centre between Brighton Station and Square. And the jury was today told that many of the victims' owners saw their cats leave home then to only return minutes later injured and had been 16 to the warehouse, sadly now on high. The CCTV camera itself was placed on Crown Gardens. It was set up by the owner of another cat that was found injured and died in October 2018. In the following May, the footage allegedly shows Mr. Bouquet returning to the scene where he glanced at the camera a day after it claimed he attacked Kendrick. And the prosecution say that he's rattled by the camera and therefore he lingers in the area because he realises he's been caught. The prosecution's case will also focus on Mr. Bouquet's mobile phone. The prosecution say that location data places him in areas where several of the cats are found injured, while it claims a kitchen knife discovered inside his home and a weapon because the DNA was found on the blade. Now, prosecutor Rowan Jenkins said the stab injuries sustained by several of the cats were consistent, and he told the jury today that while vets treat cats with accidental injuries, the injuries of the cats were penetrative, clean wounds which, in the opinion of the vets, were caused by a sharp instrument. Somebody was deliberately inflicting these injuries. The actions caused understandable trauma to owners. Many were affected emotionally and financially. Well, Steve Bouquet denies all the charges against him, and the trial, Sangeeta, here at Chichester Crown Court continues.
James, thank you.
LGBT charity in Sussex says great support networks in schools for young people questioning their gender or sexuality will help reduce mental health issues in later life.
This week is school surveys to meet with thousands of pupils in the region, taking part in efforts to eliminate instances of homophobia and transphobia, especially in the classroom. Nick Smith reports.
School days can be a hugely rewarding experience, but they're also an anxious time when we're still figuring out who we are. For adults now identifying as LGBT+, looking back, it can generate some painful memories. Jacob Bayliss from Portslade in West Sussex now helps run an LGBT. He's in his late 20s, but looking back at his time at school, he says it was still a struggle to confide in teachers.
Experienced negative attitudes from both staff and students. There was a lot of bullying. I put posters up around my school saying things like it's okay to be gay, and I was actually suspended for that. And there was no conversation about support as part of that situation. And that's something I still carry with me now. And I think my experiences at school really impacted my well-being and my mental health as a young person.
Among the current generation of youngsters, there are much bigger efforts to stamp out instances of homophobia and transphobia. School is now in its 4th year. Those taking part are encouraged to discuss LGBT issues and offer support to other pupils who may be exploring sexuality or gender identities.
If I could help them with what I went through, because it wasn't exactly fun, then it would just be nice, because then someone wouldn't have to feel like I did.
You're kind of a mentor to them to tell them that no matter what they're going through at the moment, things will always improve, and it's almost just trying to open their eyes to what can actually happen when you do accept of owning what you are.
Sometimes there's people outside that can hurt your feelings, and you can always come to a club and ask for help.
Despite far more openness in schools in recent years, young people who are LGBT+ are still more than twice as likely to experience mental health problems compared to the general population. But those behind School Diversity Week say continued efforts to support them could see that disparity eliminated.
There's nothing about being LGBT+ that should inherently give you a mental health problem, and that actually the mental health problems come from the way that LGBT in our society. And when you look at, say, LGBT plus young people who have been supported at school, supported by their family, and actually their rates of poor mental health drop to about the same as non-LGBT plus young people.
Schools have come a long way in the last 2 decades in celebrating diversity and supporting others who may identify as LGBT+. And if these efforts continue, future generations may find the journey to adulthood a little bit easier than those who went before them. Nick Smith, ITV News.
And if you or indeed someone you know needs more information on support and help groups available, do please go to our website itv.com/.
And it's nearly 12 minutes past 6 and the ITV Evening News continues here with the national and international news at 6:30. Here's Mary Nightingale.
Scotland prepare for their all-or-nothing clash against Croatia. A nation expects a win will put the team in the knockout stages of a major tournament for the first time in their history. Billy Gilmore, though, will miss the match. He's self-isolating after he tested positive for COVID. His Chelsea teammates Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell are also self-isolating, and they've been ruled out of England's game against the Czech Republic tonight. And could summer holidays be back on? ITV News understands the quarantine rules will be relaxed. I'll have all the details. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, new data reveals how 7 in 10 local councils are transforming roadside verges to support wildflowers and reverse a decline in wildlife.
Yes, many are now cutting the patches of land fewer times each year to help protect the hundreds of species of wildflowers, including threatened orchids and other rare plants.
And as Matt Price now reports, as an attempt at reversing a near decimation of Britain's traditional meadows over the last century.
Buttercups or barley, cornflowers and clovers. These grass verges are home to an abundance of wild flowers, all providing the perfect home for a host of creepy crawlies. Experts say road verges are an overlooked but vital habitat, and one we must protect.
Our road verges hold something like 700 different species of plants. So there's a huge amount of diversity within the road verges alone. If you then extend that into meadows, which are often a little bit larger, you get carbon benefits, you get soil benefits, you get the pollinators, and you get the birds as well.
The majority of councils are now doing all they can to protect the roadside verges. Data reveals that 7 in 10 English authorities are now using mowing or management regimes. West Sussex County Council are among those who know just how important it is.
We're running a programme called Community Road Verges, which is basically enabling a local community to select road verges in their neighbourhood they would like to see a bit wilder and be a little bit more pollinator friendly. Part of this is to enable local wildflowers to grow through. So rather than just grass, we'll look at what's in the seed bank and hopefully enable these habitats to be locally focused as well as being pretty to look at.
Girl gardeners like Susan Reed and Mary Brown have been professional gardeners for years.
Wow. What if you're very dirty and so...
And then look at longer term planting
If only we knew the answer to that, Fred. It is a huge night ahead in the Euros for two of the home nations, England and Scotland. England know they're guaranteed a place in the last 16. Their result against the Czech Republic tonight, though, will determine who will play.
obviously a massive disappointment for players to miss any matches. But we are in the same situation as everybody else in the country, and other people their working lives have been affected, their ability to earn money. So, you know, and of course, in a more serious sense, you know, the deaths that we've had and the casualties that we've had. So, you know, we've of course, at this moment in time, ours is a high-profile situation. It's not ideal, but in context, it's what we have to adapt and adjust to.
Well, 20 million people watched the England-Scotland match on ITV on Friday night, and no doubt many of us will be glued to the games this evening. Most of us will be at home, but others will be heading out, like our own Tony Green. And Tony, you've headed out to sample the atmosphere.
Well, that's right. I'm here at the Old Leaden Bottle in Northby, where we're about 90 minutes away from kick-off, but already the excitement is building up. The pub is festooned with flags inside and outside. You know, watching the match in a pub garden is something of an adult experience, but children are interested in this match too, as I found out when I went to a primary school in Ashford this morning, where the sports teacher is called, wait for it, Mr. Scorer.
They've missed out on a lot this year, and especially the year 5 and 6s. They really love their football, so this is the closest they've really come to be able to get into the football spirit around the Euros. Just like to get that feel, because everyone needs to start to believe that it's coming home this year.
I hope that Harry Kane keeps his cheer on sporting goals this time.
I think I'm pretty confident in this tournament. The last one was really lovely because
And everyone was expecting England to be well, there you go, some junior pundits there to give today's commentators a bit of a run for their money, but when it comes to results, we prefer to consult animals. Now, after Freddie the Ferret got the England-Scotland results wrong, the RSPCA quickly wheeled out a substitute, and that's taken the form of Malibu.